In our last episode, we destroyed the Institute with the railroad. After the dust settles, we can head to the ruins of CIT to find that there is nothing but a crater left. Approaching the edge of the crater, we begin to take on 10, 15, 22 rads per second. The Institute really was beneath the ruins of CIT. The Charles has come in to flood the crater. A thick cloud of radioactive fog hovers over it, and we can't stand here long before we've got to back away and take some rad away. I thought maybe I had just gotten unlucky and arrived during a rad storm, so I came back a while later, and briefly, for a moment, we are able to see the full destruction. The college buildings have crumbled into the crater below. The bridge lies in pieces. But soon the radioactive fog creeps in again. What have we done? How long will this site be radioactive? I dove into the water to see if we could find anything left. Any synths, any technology, any remnant of the Institute. But all we find are bricks and stone, pipes and rubble. Nothing that was below the surface exists in any state other than dust. After destroying the reactor, Desdemona told us that our job wasn't over, and so heading back to Railroad headquarters, we can check in with her.
Good, you're here. With the Institute out of the picture, we're secretly securing key locations to speed up transporting synths out of the Commonwealth. We gotta take this slow and steady, so once they're out, they're safe for the rest of their lives.
Do they have to leave the Commonwealth?
We highly encourage it. In the capital wasteland or elsewhere, the chance of discovery is minimal. And even if they're identified as a synth, most people wouldn't care. But ultimately, the choice is theirs.
At least the hard part's over.
A raider's bullet can kill someone just as easily as a courser's laser beam. Well, kill someone else at least. I swear you're indestructible.
We could just rush them all out at once.
You're not alone in that sentiment. But we still have enemies out there. So we move them carefully, and their identities will remain secret.
After all this, best not to take chances.
It's all too easy to make a misstep close to the goal line. Pam or Carrington undoubtedly could use your help. No rest for the wicked.
Sure enough, sounds like the railroad has more jobs for us. But before we tackle those jobs, let's see how the Commonwealth has changed now that the Institute is gone. And Tinker Tom has come up with a way to get us around the Commonwealth faster than on foot.
You know that vertibird from Red Glare? Well, Tom and the boys fueled it up and it's ready for you. Just throw this and it'll pick you up. Tom will start stocking signal grenades too.
Drummer Boy has given us some vertibird signal grenades. And heading to Tinker Tom, we see that now he keeps these grenades in stock. So we never have to wander on foot again. We can hitch a ride on a vertibird. Not that it really matters with fast travel in the game, but it's a fun mechanic. However, it has its quirks. Heading outside, we can toss a vertibird grenade right next to the statue of Paul Revere. But we get a notification that the vertibird will be unable to land at the requested location. So this isn't gonna work deep in the city. Annoying. I tried another nearby location that clearly had enough room for a vertibird to land, but got the same message. In order to get this to work, I had to go far outside of Boston. I found an empty patch beneath a ruined overpass. And after a while, a vertibird comes in to land. The vertibird is being piloted by somebody in a red rocket jumpsuit, presumably a railroad agent that Tinker Tom trained. Once we hop into the vertibird and man the minigun, we next have to choose a location on our Pip-Boy.
Instruments read all clear. Green for takeoff. Your weapon is locked and loaded. Good hunting.
The vertibird alights and takes us to our destination. These vertibird grenades are a great way to see the Commonwealth from an additional perspective. Great for people who want to roleplay without using fast travel, or for people who are playing on survival mode where fast travel is disabled. Next, we can head to Diamond City and check in with Nick Valentine. After helping us with our story, he has a lot to say about the fall of the Institute.
and the people of the Commonwealth slept soundly, for the greatest monster was gone. It took a lot of guts to do what you did. I know it couldn't have been easy.
What do you mean?
It's just not the sort of thing most folks could handle, changing the face of the Commonwealth forever.
You'd be surprised. It was as easy as pushing a button.
Well, aren't we lucky you showed to do the deed?
Everything the Institute's done, they got off easy.
Won't hear any argument from me.
It had to be done.
You'll get no argument from me. It's hard to even wrap your head around. A world without the Institute, lurking in the shadows. But that's the life the people of the Commonwealth will get to lead now. All thanks to you.
How are you doing with all this?
Well, there were a lot of questions I was hoping the Institute could answer, but I've already made it this far without them. I think I'll manage.
Hey, it was fun. Anything else you need blown up?
You know, I dare say you've done enough.
Well, the people of the Commonwealth better be ready to show their gratitude.
After what you've done, I don't expect that's going to be an issue.
I didn't do it alone.
Sure. But we both know without you, none of this would have ever been possible. This is a brave new world you've ushered in. But I suppose it'll do.
Then we can head to public occurrences and talk with Piper Wright. Of all the people in Diamond City, she's probably the most excited that the Institute's gone.
I can't believe it. They're gone. The Institute's gone. Do you know what this means?
Cambridge has one hell of a new pothole?
I suppose it does, but more than that.
You gonna make me guess?
Have you ever known me to hold back information?
I know a lot of people sacrificed themselves to get us here.
They did. But thanks to them, and you, we get to live free.
That the Commonwealth is finally safe.
Exactly. It means no more kidnappings. No more sleepless nights, terrified your neighbors plotting against you. No more fear. Thanks to you, we don't have to be afraid anymore.
You know, except of death claws and mutants, ferals, ambitious mole rats.
Okay, maybe a couple of things to be afraid of, but you took care of the big one.
So with the Institute gone, does this mean you're out of a job?
You're joking, right? Someone's gonna have to document the post-Institute world now, won't they?
Oh, don't worry. I'll give them something new to be afraid of.
You know, your victory speeches could use some work. Doesn't change the fact that we're all in your debt.
They don't have to be afraid thanks to us. I never could have done this by myself.
True. But the Institute was around for a long time before you got here. Not anymore. Welcome to day one of the new Commonwealth.
And sure enough, after waiting a few days, Piper releases a new issue of Public Occurrences. The Boogeyman Banished? By Piper Wright. We've all succumbed to it, at one point or another. No matter how brave or how strong we actually are, the people of the Commonwealth have known fear. Ever since the broken mask incident of 2229, when the first human-looking synth infiltrated and attacked a group of innocent settlers, we have lain in wake in bed at night, terrified of the Institute and everything it represents. Long have we dreaded the possibilities. Will someone I know be taken, snatched in the night for who knows what reason? Will one of my loved ones suddenly turn on me because they are, in fact, a synth replacement? Or will the boogeyman finally step out of the closet and devour all who stand in its way? We, the people of the Commonwealth, remember the past. We lived in terror in the present. But with the catastrophic explosion at the CIT ruins quite obviously signaling the destruction of the Institute, which this reporter learned was actually located deep underground, the question on everyone's minds now is, has the boogeyman really been banished? It would certainly seem that way. As long as there's been an Institute, there have been those opposed to the shadowy, sinister organization. While most ordinary folk wouldn't dream of defying their merciless masters, The Railroad has waged a secret war against them for over 30 years, and the Brotherhood of Steel's arrival in the Commonwealth signaled the most overt opposition the Institute has ever faced. All empires must eventually fall. That said, perhaps it was never a matter of if, but rather when. So what exactly does this mean for the Commonwealth going forward? That, dear readers, is the question. For the boogeyman may indeed have been banished, but isn't it possible other monsters may step out of the closet to terrorize us in the night? There are other players in the Commonwealth. None had been as strong as the Institute, but that's sure to change. Will they work with the Commonwealth or against it? Are they for the people or against us? This reporter holds on to hope for one very specific reason. If my sources are correct, and I know they are, the Institute's destruction was actually orchestrated by someone many of us have already met, the Vault Dweller. It would seem that lonely figure who came into our settlement searching for a missing child actually found the monster that had taken so many children and killed it. So be wary as we go into a new tomorrow, my friends, but stay strong. And always, always remember that humanity lives and dies on the surface. Humanity is the Commonwealth. And maybe, just maybe, with the Institute finally gone, we can have the future we all deserve. No mention that that monster we killed was actually the child we were looking for. Numerous guards and civilians all over Diamond City and Goodneighbor have something to say about the destruction of the Institute and the Brotherhood.
That explosion came from the old CIT ruins. I mean, if you believe the stories or the history, could the Institute really have been destroyed?
I don't know who had the guts to attack the Brotherhood's blimp, but I hope I don't piss them off.
There he is, the man of the hour.
You see that big explosion over at CIT? They say that's where the Institute got started. So, the big kaboom hits old CIT. I hope the stories are true.
Now that was some fireworks show. Teach those Brotherhood bastards not to step into this Commonwealth.
We're getting a lot of graffiti these days. Pictures of lanterns. Know anything about that?
Big shitstorm at Bunker Hill, huh? As long as the Institute took a licking, I'm happy.
I was on duty when I seen that airship fall out of the sky. I wonder if anyone survived.
God, did you see that explosion? The old CIT ruins, they're just a big crater now.
The legend himself. Way to give it to the Institute. You're like my hero or something. I don't know. Thanks.
And instead of Institute flags waving over Diamond City, we now find railroad flags waving over Diamond City. An interesting thing for a secretive organization to do. Travis Miles can barely contain himself. First, he gets all afluster over the explosion.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but did anyone out there see that? Or hear it, or feel it, or probably all three of those things? Some sort of massive explosion near downtown, and I mean like massive, really huge. The rumor is that it might have been the Institute, but well, I can't confirm that. I'll try and find out, and yeah, we'll have more on the story maybe later, soon. I hope.
Then, when he realizes what has exploded, he goes bonkers.
Okay. Okay, so here's some big news, maybe. Maybe the biggest news since ever. The Institute. It's well, it's gone, blown up, like totally destroyed. I can't find. I mean, I don't know exactly what happened, and it's not just because no one tells me anything, but rumor is that the railroad had something to do with it. Like, they got in there and, you know, blew it up. And, like, so the Institute, it was underground the whole time? Man, I just... new, right? I heard that people were saying that that the Vault Dweller was involved. So if that's true, then I think we all owe him, like, a lot. And now we can all sleep better, you know? Because we're not gonna be kidnapped or replaced with robots or anything. So I'd say it's a pretty great day for the Commonwealth.
Heading to Good Neighbor, we can check in with Dr. Amari. Remember, when we sided with the Institute, Dr. Amari didn't want anything to do with us. But it's a different story this time.
The Institute is finally gone. We can all breathe easier without them lurking behind everyone's lives. Thank you.
I was surprised that Hancock didn't have anything to say about it, considering that speech he gave to everybody in Good Neighbor when we first arrived. Then we can track down Preston Garvey. And this is where issuing the evacuation protocol in the Institute matters. Now, for some reason, during this dialogue, he kept on trying to walk away from me. So I had to break out of the dialogue window to finish his dialogue. And it happened whenever I talked with him about this in Sanctuary. But if we fail to issue the evacuation protocol, he says this.
The Institute is gone. I guess I'm glad about that. But you just killed everyone. There wasn't any other way?
I didn't have time to waste helping my enemies escape. I have no regrets. I went there to destroy the Institute, and I did. Does it matter? They were my enemies.
No, I don't accept that. The leaders of the Institute were your enemies. Maybe they all deserve to die. But that doesn't justify killing the innocent along with the guilty.
I should have let the civilians evacuate before we blew the reactor. I'm sorry for that now.
You should have thought of that before you blew them all to hell. What you did was mass murder. Plain and simple. What's done is done. People are still gonna need the Minutemen for a long time. The Institute was hardly the only threat out there. I guess we better get back to work.
Preston Garvey of the Commonwealth Minutemen cares about human life. He's the only one who has a reaction to us not issuing the evacuation protocol. Even the railroad, who told us to avoid civilian casualties while we were attacking the Institute, has nothing to say about the evacuation protocol. I think it says a lot about the character of the Minutemen that they care so much about the lives even of their enemies. However, the conversation goes very differently if we do issue the evacuation protocol.
I can hardly believe it. The Institute is gone. I never thought I'd live to see that day. The way is now clear for the Commonwealth to finally come together and build something good for the future. But it's not all sunshine and rainbows from here on out.
The Minutemen are still needed. There are plenty of other threats still out there.
I couldn't have said it better myself, General.
What, no sunshine and rainbows? Next you're gonna tell me I'm not getting a pony.
If I had any ponies to hand out, you'd be first on my list. None of this would have happened without you.
I don't care about the Commonwealth. I just wanted to see the Institute destroyed.
I hope someday you can let go of your anger and see how much good you've actually done.
The Institute wasn't the Commonwealth's only problem. We've still got plenty to do.
I couldn't have said it better myself, General. The Institute kept the Commonwealth divided for centuries, but there are plenty of other problems left to deal with. I don't think the Minutemen are going to be out of a job for a long time yet, as much as I might wish it.
And with this choice, he's proud of us. And I gotta say, as annoying as Preston can be, there's no one more wholesome in all of the Commonwealth, with the exception of maybe Codsworth, than Preston Garvey. His approval means a lot. However, there is one person who we can't help but disappoint. Heading back to the Glowing Sea, we can check in with Virgil. And if we failed to get the serum for him...
The radio! The Institute signal, it's gone! What happened? We had a deal! I help you get into the Institute. You get me the serum! Instead, what do? You blow the damn place up! My home, my friends, and the one chance I had of being human again!
But even if we got the serum for him...
The radio signal from the Institute isn't coming in anymore. happened, didn't it? Something terrible.
It's gone. I made sure of that. Aren't you better off now?
Better off? Well, you... maybe personally, but...
It had to be done, Virgil. It was them or us.
You... It's all gone? All of it?
I'm sorry, Virgil. The Institute's gone. Destroyed.
Oh, God.
Oh, I blew that place to hell. Nothing left.
You did what? The Institute had done some questionable things, but... all those people... I think maybe you should go. For good.
Virgil?
I don't want visitors. I think you should leave. Just please, leave me alone.
I suppose I can understand. He was born and raised in the Institute. Those were his family and friends, and they're dead because he helped us. That must be an enormous amount of guilt that he now has to live with, and he couldn't bear it. His reaction here is the same, whether or not we issued the evacuation order in the Institute. Then, like when we sided with the Institute, the faction we side with, in this case the Railroad, takes over and occupies all choke points and pieces of technology scattered around the Commonwealth. These military checkpoints often come under attack from monsters, from raiders, sometimes from Brotherhood survivors, and sometimes from synth survivors. We can, optionally, come to their aid. But Desdemona said that the Railroad has some new jobs for us, so we can head back to the Railroad to see what they are. But as we descend the steps, we find Synth Sean.
I wish there were cars that worked. It would be really fun to drive one.
Hey, Sean.
Dad, I was so worried. I thought I'd never see you again. Is it true? Did you really blow up the Institute? Why would you do that?
Trust me. They deserved it.
Really? They were kind of like my family.
They were dangerous, Sean. To everyone in the Commonwealth.
Yeah, that's what Tom told me.
We had no choice, Sean. It was us or them.
That's awful. I thought they were nice.
I know it's hard to understand. Are you okay, Sean?
I mean, I'll miss them. But if it means everyone else will be safe, as long as you don't leave me, it'll be okay. You're not gonna leave me, right?
Oh, Sean. Where would I go?
I don't know. You're busy and lots of people need you. Just make sure you don't forget about me.
I can't make any promises, kid.
I know you're busy and important and all that. I just hope I get to see you sometimes.
Hey, I'm not a babysitter.
No, I know. Just as long as I get to see you.
Don't worry, kiddo. I'm here for you.
Okay. Oh, before I forget, Father, he told me to give this to you. I didn't listen to it, so I don't know what it says. But I think it's important.
Remember, he only appears here in the Railroad headquarters if we choose to save him. If we abandon him and Tinker Tom saves him instead, he completely disappears from the game. And similar to when we sided with the Institute, Synth Sean gives us a holotape from Father. But the contents of this holotape are very different.
If you are hearing this, then whatever conflicts you and I have endured are over. I have no reason to believe that you'll honor the request I'm about to make. But I feel compelled to try anyway.
Is he?
This synth, this boy, he deserves more. He has been reprogrammed to believe he is your son. It is my hope that you will take him with you. I would only ask that you give him a chance. A chance to be part of whatever future awaits the Commonwealth.
What a strange thing for Father to do. It was Father who sent Synth Sean up to the relay room as we were about to leave the Institute. Sending him to us was his final act before he died. One of the final things he said to us while on his deathbed was that because of our actions, the Commonwealth is now doomed.
You've spent time up there. You know as well as I that it's doomed.
And yet, he sends his synth prototype with us out into the Commonwealth. Why? Father said that he thinks this synth deserves better. Deserves a better what? Deserves a better life? Is Father admitting that he thinks that synths are living beings? I can see no other reasonable explanation for this behavior. All this time, he has talked about synths as robots, property, no more human than a toaster or a Nuka-Cola machine. And yet he pleads with us to care for a synth because the synth deserves better than to perish in the Institute. On some perhaps subconscious level, Sean, our son, must not really believe that synths are just machines. But that's a bigger topic for another day. Talking with Sean again.
Sometimes I'm scared, but it all seems okay when you're here.
Sean, do you want to get out of here? Go live somewhere else with me?
If we say no.
Oh, okay, well, maybe some other time. Thanks anyway.
He seems disappointed, so we can talk with him again, and then choose any one of our Minuteman settlements, or even our Mercer safe house.
Okay.
And with that, this seemingly 10-year-old boy walks off into the raider and super mutant-infested ruins of Boston alone. Good luck, kid. See you later. Bye. Oddly enough, if we want to do his side quest later on, we have to send him to a settlement. From this point on, he just continues to talk with us about leaving the railroad headquarters until we send him to a settlement. If we do, we can meet up with him at that settlement.
I heard people saying they don't have enough clean water here. I hope you can help them, soon.
And he's a good source of information to learn about whether or not our settlement is making our settlers happy.
Hey, Sean.
Hey, Dad, can you do something for me?
And then he begins his side quest. This side quest is identical to the one we did for Sean if we sided with the Institute. He sends us out to get bits and pieces of scrap, and after we complete that side quest a couple of times, he gives us the Wazer Rifle. The stats of the Wazer Rifle are identical to the version we get after siding with the Institute. But after the quest is done, he does have some unique dialogue that we don't get if we side with the Institute.
It can be scary out here sometimes. But people just never give up, do they? They're always trying to make things safer. You know, it's not as clean as the Institute, but I like it. It's hard to think about before this. Sometimes I can remember, sometimes I can't. Does that happen to you? I like this place. Finally a real home. If humans make synths, who makes humans? Like you and me. The world is so much bigger than I've ever imagined. We're going to live here, right? I think it's great. Are you leaving again? I like it when you're here. I just wanted you to know. I love you, Dad. Last time you came back, Never mind. I'm just happy you're here.
Back at railroad headquarters, we can finally check in with Dr. Carrington to see what task he has for us.
What you accomplished. What we accomplished. Well, sadly though, our work isn't done. Despite Tom's best efforts, we simply transported too many people out of the Institute too quickly. A sizable number of synths and other refugees were teleported near randomly. These poor, disoriented souls make easy targets for bigots and others. Hopefully you can find time from resting on your laurels to help a synth that's been captured.
You're such an ass.
You do understand irony. Sarcasm? No? I apologize. If there's anyone in this organization that deserves my respect, it's you.
How bad's the situation out there?
Unknown. The evacuation was, by necessity, quite chaotic. We don't even know how many synths were teleported into danger. I fully expect this is a problem we'll be dealing with for quite some time.
Rescuing synths is what I do.
I figured you'd say something like that.
Tell me the plan.
Cut and dry rescue operation, really. Once you liberate the synth, give them this care package. It'll direct them to Bunker Hill for processing. They may wind up at your Mercer safe house. That's the only safe house that isn't well past maximum capacity. Good luck.
With that, we begin the Radiant quest, Lost Soul. And it makes sense that they would give us new Radiant quests here. because many of the Radiant quests we had with the Railroad before we destroyed the Institute had to do with fighting the Institute. But now that the Institute's gone, they're gone as a threat, which makes those Radiant quests obsolete. So to make sure that the player had the same opportunities to earn experience and money if they sided with the Railroad compared to siding with the other factions, they gave us these new Radiant quests. The destination is chosen randomly, as with many Radiant quests in the game. With this one, we infiltrate the location, clear it of all hostiles, and find a kidnapped synth.
Take this and leave.
You're the Railroad, right? Oh, thank you.
With that, we give her the care package, and she makes her way to Bunker Hill, or maybe to our Mercer safe house. Heading back to the Railroad, we can check in with Carrington.
One synth safely out of harm's way.
I have no doubt our runners will find more stray synths. It's virtually guaranteed.
And it's rinse and repeat. We can do that side quest over and over again, ad nauseum. Now, Dr. Carrington gave us the impression that our Mercer safe house would be bursting at the seams with synths, but I found that not to be the case. Heading to my Mercer safe house, which was at Hangman's Alley, I even tried to spruce it up a bit by adding sources of food, adding beds and shelter and water, but no people in synth outfits or Institute lab coats ever arrived. And I don't recall them ever arriving on my first Railroad playthrough either. On that playthrough many years ago, I fixed up every single settlement and perfected the happiness, and I don't remember any big batches of synths appearing. Now, that's not to say that synths don't appear at your settlement. They do. They just do so incognito. We don't know that they are synths, and they don't know that they are synths. These are synths that have already had their memories wiped by the Institute. There are mods you can install to see whether or not one of your settlers is a synth. But that's a very different thing from what we come to expect from this bit of dialogue we get from Carrington. We expect synths who escaped from the Institute, who didn't have their minds wiped, who got lost along their way, arriving to our Mercer safe house. And that didn't happen in my game. Did it happen in your game? Perhaps I just got unlucky. On a related note, when we talked with Father in the Institute, before we issued the evacuation protocol, we got the impression from that dialogue that we would find Institute scientist survivors roaming the wasteland. And I even have some vague memory in the back of my head of seeing them in random encounters, or maybe I read a forum post at some time from somebody who said that they encountered surviving Institute scientists in a random encounter. But during the production of this video, I spent hours triggering random encounters after siding with the Railroad and issuing the evacuation protocol, and I never saw that. I never found any Institute scientists. I, of course, found the Art v. Art synth encounter and the Timothy escaped synth random encounter, but I didn't find any surviving synths or scientists in random encounters, which frankly surprised me. But again, maybe I just got unlucky. Did you find any in your gameplay? Next we can head to Pam. She's got a mission for us too.
Organization Brotherhood of Steel removed from the Commonwealth prediction equations. Corollary: the remnants of said organization have transformed into a highly unpredictable subset of human actors. Warning: success of railroad operations at unknown risk due to this change in the predictive matrix. Solution: remove Brotherhood variables.
How much of a threat are they?
Individual actors display far more erratic and diverse behavior than groups. Posit: the capability of any given Brotherhood of Steel actor is superior to the mean Commonwealth actor. Consequence: lone Brotherhood actors capable of tremendous ingenuity and disruption possibilities to Organization Railroad's desired outcomes.
Why is it whenever I do math with you, Pam, I wind up covered in blood?
Unable to process.
I've killed enough Brotherhood to last a lifetime.
Acknowledged. However, these individual actors remain a great threat.
Sounds like they need to be dealt with.
Affirmative. A patrol has been spotted and identified. Target data dispensed.
And this replaces the Radiant quest where we went to go kill a Courser. Instead of a Courser, we're now hunting down Brotherhood of Steel remnants. For this one, I decided to take a vertibird to the location and found it swarming with Brotherhood, including knights in power armor. This was far more difficult of a fight than I thought it was going to be. But to complete the Radiant quest, we got to single-handedly kill this entire Brotherhood patrol. It took me quite a while. With that, we complete the objective, and we can head back to Pam to turn in the quest.
Pam, I killed the patrol.
Processing. Processing complete. Offering congratulatory token.
She can offer us another quest similar to this called High Ground, where we have to eliminate a Brotherhood of Steel vertibird. However, this quest is bugged. She won't offer the quest if we still have variable removal, the quest to kill an Institute Courser, still active in our Pip-Boy by the time we destroy the Institute. And even if we don't, she sometimes never offers the quest for unknown reasons. And that was the instance in my gameplay. I couldn't get her to offer the High Ground quest. Then, one day when arriving at the railroad, Desdemona herself greets us at the door.
A word. Patriot didn't make it out of the Institute. He died during the evacuation. Are we clear?
What happened to Liam?
I don't know specifically. Neither do you.
There's more to this story.
No, there isn't. It was a tragic accident.
There's one loose end tied up.
This wasn't me.
Not Liam. That's so...
I know. Believe me, I know. Read this letter, and then destroy it. We won't talk about this again.
Desdemona hands us Patriot's suicide letter. Reading it in our Pip-Boy. You betrayed me. Me! After all I did for you. I trusted you. I risked everything to help Synths. To help you. And this? This is how you repay me? My father is dead. Everyone I loved and cared about was vaporized or lost in this barren, irradiated crap hole because of you. I used to feel sorry for you. You lost your son. You missed out on every moment of his life. Now I see it's only what you deserved. I cannot live with myself. Due to my stupid trust in you, I've destroyed humanity's best hope for the future. If there's any fairness in this world, you'll never get a good night's sleep in what remains of your hopefully short, miserable life. Liam. Desdemona walks to the center of the crypt, where we see Liam's body lying, and addresses the railroad.
We're all here. We knew that taking the fight to the Institute would cost us. We lost many. Great heroes, like High-Rise and Glory. But many others as well. But this last blow is an especially painful one. An unfair one. Patriot. For many years, Patriot was our secret weapon. He helped dozens of synths escape to freedom, at a time when each victory was as precious as it was perilous. And his final sacrifice helped usher in a new, better life for a whole people. We will bury him in a place of honor. That is all.
Patriot just wanted to free the synths. He thought slavery was wrong. He wanted to save all these people. He didn't know we were gonna come invade the Institute and destroy Institute robotics so no synths could ever be made again, and kill his friends and kill his father. Had he known any of that, he never would have worked with us, which of course is why we were really quiet about what we were doing with Patriot towards the end there. As far as the railroad is concerned, he got killed in the evacuation. He gave his life for the synths. Only Desdemona and we will ever know what really happened.
I never even got to meet him.
Patriot was... I need a moment. This is a real blow to the railroad.
Patriot saved so many synths. Patriot. He'll never get to...
One day, just after arriving at Diamond City, we see the mayor walking out the main door. Strange. Okay. Where you going, Mayor?
Mayor McDonough?
I have somewhere to be. Sorry.
He's busy. Right. But then later, we find a crowd hovering over a body.
You gotta listen. Mayor McDonough, I saw him with one of those Institute synths.
Piper was right. He's one of them.
McDonough's a synth. Oh, God. What do we do now?
You can stop standing around. Someone get a doctor.
It's Danny Sullivan, the guard we met when we first arrived at Diamond City. We now need to confront Mayor McDonough, but we can optionally give Danny a stim pack.
Danny.
2 slugs in the gut, plus the fall from the elevator. I ain't gonna make it.
What happened to you, Danny?
I was making my rounds near the mayor's office when I heard shouting. Thought he was in trouble at first. Then, when I found him, he was with a synth. One of those old ones with all the metal parts. Said something about how they can't do this to him. That's when they noticed I was there. Got plugged 2 times before I ran to the elevator. I remember falling. And it's kind of hazy.
Hold on. I'll be back.
Not much else I can do.
If we refuse to give him a stim pack...
Just let go. It'll all be over soon.
We should have done something about McDonough. Ain't like we weren't warned. Just didn't want to admit it.
He dies.
Pastor.
A man has just died. Don't just stand there and gawk.
God, I voted for the mayor twice. He was with the Institute this whole time?
The mayor? He's part of the Institute? Oh, God.
But if we give him a stim pack...
Quick, take this stim pack.
Thank you. I feel better. If you don't mind, I'm just gonna stay here for a bit.
McDonough's a synth. Someone has to do something.
Yeah, and that someone is me. Heading up the ramp, we can go to the elevator and take it all the way to the top, where we find that, unsurprisingly, Piper has beat us to it.
I knew you were a synth, McDonough!
Yes, Piper. Congratulations, you've won. I hope you break your foot trying to kick that door down.
Ugh, damn it, it won't budge! Damn it, McDonough's locked the door. There's no key. Gotta be a way in.
Well, thankfully, we've been through all of this before. Casting our mind back to where we came here to get the key to Kellogg's house, we find the button underneath Geneva's desk. He has Geneva as a hostage.
That's far enough.
Help me! He's crazy!
I am not just going to be discarded and tossed to the wolves. I'm the mayor, goddammit!
Discarded? The Institute didn't want you back?
No! Before the explosion, they sent some discount messenger to tell me I've outlived my usefulness.
Hell, I'd vote for him again.
Cracking jokes? I'll kill her! I swear I will.
Now we could attack.
Goodbye, McDonough.
You'll never take me alive!
Or we could tell him to get rid of his hostage. If we succeed...
Mayor McDonough, I can help you. But not when you're holding a hostage. Let her go.
Oh! All right. She can go.
And he then continues with his dialogue. But if we fail...
Oh, no. I'm not losing my bargaining chip. Now, I'll tell you what's going to happen next. I'm walking out of this city, unharmed, with my dignity intact.
You're not getting off the hook that easy, McDonough. You have to answer for what you've done.
I'm either walking out of the city a free man, or I'm killing as many of you disgusting, filthy savages as I can.
He continues with his dialogue anyway. That dialogue check doesn't really change much here. At this point, we could again attack him.
Time to shut you up for good.
You'll know this is my city.
Or we could explore the rest of his dialogue.
What are you gonna do then, McDonough?
I can't go back to the Institute. I can't stay here, but I'm a man of resourcefulness. I'll make my way. Just let me go. Hasn't there been enough bloodshed? Think about poor Mr. Sullivan.
Aside from killing him, we are left with 2 choices. We could agree to his terms.
Fine. Get out of here, and don't come back.
And if I were you, I'd run.
far.
I'd say I'll miss this rust bucket of a city, but I won't.
So the big fat liar gets to walk free. Another depressing story to add to the pile.
True, the mayor's a synth, but letting him go...
Oddly enough, Piper liked that. Deacon didn't like that. He's the one who complained about that choice. But Piper liked it if we let Mayor McDonough go. That's gotta be a glitch. I can't imagine that could be accurate. Or we could tell him that he's gonna stand trial.
You're going to stand trial. And these people are going to have justice.
Lord knows you've got plenty to answer for.
Trial? Please. You know how these people feel about synths. I won't be stuck in a prison while they gloat.
But if we choose that option, he turns hostile. He didn't try to shoot Geneva. He immediately tried to attack us. So again, passing that dialogue check to free Geneva doesn't seem to matter.
Made that look easy.
He's dead. I can't say McDonough didn't deserve worse, but... Without a mayor, the city council will be next in line to pick up the pieces. Let's hope they do a better job. I don't know when people are gonna be ready for another mayoral election. Not gonna be soon, that's for sure. But at least now, Diamond City will finally have the truth.
Institute infiltrators are bad news. It's probably better he's gone. For what it's worth, you can never trust a synth infiltrator. They've been specially designed to fool everyone.
I got a lot to clean up here, Blue. Hit me up again later.
Exploring his body, sure enough, in this instance, we do find a synth component. We can check on Geneva to make sure she's okay.
Oh my god, he almost killed me.
Well, what a shock that must have been for her. Heading back outside, we can check in with Danny.
Sullivan.
I'm just gonna stay here for a bit.
Pastor Clements.
Thank you. God willing, he'll make a full recovery.
And then a few days later, we find Danny, good as new, back at his post.
Listen, thanks for saving my life. I would have walked into the great beyond if it weren't for you. It's not much, but here, take it. Can't believe I let McDonough boss me and the boys around for so long. We just kept looking the other way. You're a hero. Diamond City needs more people like you.
Danny.
Can't talk. All this chatting is gonna tarnish my tough cop persona.
And he gives us 100 bottle caps. We can then head to Bunker Hill, and we find that the outcome here isn't that different from the one we get if we side with the Institute. Like when we side with the Institute, Kessler tells us that she doesn't want any trouble, and she gives us free reign over Bunker Hill. We gain it as a settlement. Strangely enough, if we talk to Old Man Stockton...
I run 3 caravans that travel throughout the Commonwealth.
He's still in character, despite the fact that the Institute is gone. Though him remaining undercover makes a lot of sense when we head back to Desdemona. Our job is not done.
With the Institute dealt with, we're reevaluating our ongoing operations. And the L&L gang is currently our single greatest threat. Glory had been pushing me to deal with them for years. Looks like she finally gets her wish.
Who is this L&L gang?
They're not so much a gang, really, as a loosely affiliated group of raiders. What sets them apart from the usual filth is they take a particular sadistic pleasure in finding and executing synths. We've lost more synths to them over the years than even the coursers.
If they're that big a problem, we should have done this when Glory was alive.
If we had started picking off L&L, that pattern would have been recognized by the SRB immediately. But now, we can bring them down without that risk.
I miss Glory too, Des.
I only wish she was here for this.
Just tell me where to go.
We got a lead on one of L&L's big dogs, Lucky Tatum. Deal with him.
With that, we begin To the Mattress 1. The phrase, go to the mattress, is a reference to the novel The Godfather. It's an idiom for going to war or attacking someone without restraint. People engaged in such conflicts are likely to sleep uneasily in temporary and often uncomfortable lodging on mattresses rather than beds. That's right, the Railroad has told us from the very beginning that hatred towards synths runs deep in the Commonwealth. It's not just the Institute we had to watch out for, but raiders and everyday people as well. Looks like this L&L gang has decided to persecute synths. and so we need to eliminate them. Now, To the Mattress works a lot like a Radiant quest, but like some of the other Railroad Radiant quests we've explored, it's not a true Radiant quest, as it does have a definitive end. But to find that end, we've got to go through all of them. Like a Radiant quest, the destination is randomly chosen, but the destination is always a Raider hideout. In this case, the first one we go to is Beantown Brewery. We don't have to kill everyone here, we just have to kill the Raider boss, in this case, Lucky Tatum. With Lucky dead, we can make a hasty retreat and head back to Desdemona.
Lucky Tatum is eliminated.
Good. If we get a lead on any more of the L&L gang, I'll let you know.
With that, we complete To the Mattress 1. A day later, we can come back and talk with Desdemona again.
We found another of the L&L gang. Her name's Big Maud. She's killed 3 synths that we know of. Revenge here will be sweet.
Any more info on the target?
No, but we believe the intel's credible.
On it.
Get to it then.
I'm busy.
Well, hopefully you can get around to it sooner than later.
It'll be my pleasure.
Make them pay.
We begin To the Mattress 2. This time we need to kill Big Maud. The Radiant location chosen for me this time was the Drug Den, an unmarked location close to Bunker Hill. Heading inside, we can clear the place of raiders until Big Maud shows her face. And then we can kill her too. Heading back to the railroad, we can talk to Desdemona.
Maud's taken care of.
Excellent. The L&L gang aren't rocket scientists, but even people like them probably know someone's onto them. As soon as I hear more, I'll let you know.
And we complete To the Mattress 2. Then, a day later, we can talk to Desdemona.
More news on the L&L gang. Stevie Buchanan is negotiating with another gang, trying to drum up allies. If we take him out before those negotiations are complete, it'll make our job easier down the line. You know what to do.
Any more info on the target?
We know where the raiders are. That's it. Make them pay.
And we begin To the Mattress 3. This time we have to kill Stevie Buchanan. In my game, Stevie was at the Revere Beach Station. This is a tricky place to get in and out of unseen, so I pretty much had to clear the whole place of every raider here. At the very end of the tracks, we find Stevie Buchanan, and we can finish him. With Stevie dead, we head back to Railroad HQ and talk to Desdemona.
Stevie is gone.
That'll make other raiders think twice about helping the L&L gang. Good work.
A day later, talking with Desdemona again.
The L&L gang hit some of our people. Tammy Mack caught a runner and his synth out in the open. Killed them very graphically. To send a message. Unfortunately for her, she was sloppy, and we tracked her down. Now it's time to send a message of our own. Get to it then.
We begin To the Mattress 4. This time we need to kill Tammy Mack. In my game, she was located at the BADTFL regional office, a place we actually cleared earlier in the game, but looks like it has become repopulated with raiders. Heading inside, we can clear it of all hostiles, until at last we find Tammy Mack. With Tammy Mack dead, we head back to Railroad headquarters and turn in the quest.
Tammy Mack's been dealt with.
Hopefully we can deal with the remaining L&L bosses before they find more of our people. Thank you.
A day later, we come back to Desdemona.
Only 3 L&L gang bosses left. It took some digging, but we found where the Bruiser is laying low. The Bruiser is our public enemy number 1. End this synth killer.
On it.
Just stay careful out there.
And we begin To the Mattress 5. This time we've got to kill Bruiser. And Bruiser is at Hyde Park. Oh god. I did a video on Hyde Park years ago, and it's absolutely swarming with raiders. And it's right next to the ruins of Quincy, which is swarming with gunners, and sometimes the raiders and gunners exchange shots at each other. It's just a messy, messy place. But going in guns blazing did the trick. I was lucky enough to find the bruiser almost immediately. And with the bruiser dead, we can get the heck out of here so as not to aggro the whole place. Back at Railroad HQ, we can again talk to Desdemona.
The bruiser's dead.
We're this close to finally avenging many of our fallen. Thank you.
And we complete the quest. A day later, we come back to learn that we're almost done.
The last of the L&L gang have banded together. They're hiding, but some very scared raiders ratted them out. Kill Captain Sally. Then finally, the L&L gang will be no more. Make them pay.
With that, we begin to the Mattress 6. Time to kill Captain Sally. And oddly enough, we're sent to the Revere Beach station again. I did this in just a matter of days. I'm surprised the station filled up with raiders so quickly. But we already know what to do. We head to the end of the tracks until we get to the final room, where we find more than we bargained for. After already clearing this place once, we find not one, not two, but 3 named raiders, as well as a few legendaries thrown in just for fun.
You ain't dull, I'll say that.
We had to kill Cinder, Johnny T. Walters, and Captain Sally. Johnny T. Walters and Captain Sally are the 2 bosses that appear here when doing To the Mattress. But Cinder is the boss that's here usually. Tough, but not impossible. With the raiders finally dead, we head back to Desdemona.
The last of the L&L gang have fallen.
Over the years, L&L have killed so many, so much blood. I know it wasn't easy, but you've made the Commonwealth a safer place for everyone. Especially since, take this, you've earned it.
And with that, we have put an end to the L&L gang. The To the Mattress quests come to an end. We can't get any more from her. And that's pretty much it from Desdemona for the rest of the game. And so, by siding with the Railroad, we arguably changed the Commonwealth more than siding with any other faction. We get a lot of new Radiant quests, and a bit more backstory too. And that is the full story of the Railroad. But it's not the full story of Fallout 4. In our next episode, we will go back in time to the point where we just learned the true nature of Sean. We will then choose one of the 2 remaining factions to side with, either the Brotherhood of Steel or the Minutemen. Which one will I choose? Tune in to find out. Now, I've had a couple of busy months here at Oxhorn headquarters, what with having to replace my primary gaming computer, then going out of town for a week, and producing a bunch of content related to the Fallout TV show, so I'm a bit behind. Please be patient while I capture footage to continue this series, but never fear, I will be back soon with the next episode in the full story of Fallout 4. If you don't want to miss it, be sure to subscribe and to hit that bell notification button. It's difficult to constantly be making new content and also fight with the ever-changing YouTube algorithm, so if you like this series, if you like my content, do me a favor and hit that bell notification button. That way we all make sure that you don't miss my next episode. I've got a plush for sale. My Ox plush is ready for shipment. However, I have limited quantities and I've already sold over half of them. So if you don't want to miss out on your only opportunity to get the Ox plush, snag it today before I run out. I've also got a merch shop where I sell completely unique designs that you can't find anywhere else. My designs come on shirts in a variety of men's, women's, and children's sizes, and in a wide array of colors. You can find them on other products as well, like smartphone cases, pillows, posters, mugs, stickers, prints, etc. So if interested, you can find a link to my shop in the description below, or you can click here. If you like what I do and you want to support me in another way, consider becoming a patron on Patreon or a member here on YouTube. YouTube members get access to little badges that appear next to their names in the comment sections of my videos, and they gain ox emojis that they can use in my video comments and in the live chats of my live streams. But more than anything, I'm just so glad you're here watching this video with me today. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon with the next episode in the full story of Fallout 4.